up, everyone? Chris from Full Steam Designs. Today I want to show you guys a new tool that I've added to my shop recently. This is Evolution's new 14-inch mitering metal cutting saw. This is not an abrasive saw. This is a carbide tooth blade that makes metal cutting a breeze. And this has completely changed the way that I process materials coming into my shop. This saw's got a number of great features. I just want to go over some of those real quick, and then we'll get into cutting some material.
All right, so like most miter saws, it has this little safety switch that won't allow you to actually pull the trigger unless you have that switch flipped to the side. And it's got a handle on top, and the saw is actually pretty well balanced when you're holding it here. It's held in the locked down position by this little pin. And I actually built a base for mine. I just wanted this permanently set up so I can just use it whenever I need and I don't have to pull it out. And you store the tool, which comes with it, this little Allen key here for removing the blade, on the back of the saw. Now, one of the really cool features about this thing is these clamps, and it comes with a couple different options here. But you see in the back, it's got a few dog holes, and this clamp here will clamp down on your material. And then it also comes with this bar, which I really like this. So this will allow you to slide these clamps on that will push towards the fence with the material. And this is adjustable. There's little detents in here so you can slide it up or down and get those clamps to just in the right position that you need them to be in. I really love these clamps. I think they make it a lot safer. There's just a ton of different ways that you can set them up, so there shouldn't ever be a problem where you can't hold a piece of material properly. And it even lets you cut pretty short pieces of material using these, which is a really nice benefit. And these little slide-on pieces here are used for holding either angle or square tube or round material. But I'll show you more how they work a little later. And this piece here, it may look like it's a sliding miter saw, but it's actually not. This is just to be able to set the saw in different positions so that you're cutting your material properly. So you'll notice like here, it's kind of far back on the material. And then when you slide it to the middle, it's like right above it. And then when you pull it forward, it's kind of cutting down into it. So they recommend different ways of cutting it. Comes with a manual that will walk you through this, but they also give you a little cheat sheet just to show you how you should properly set stuff up. And as you probably noticed, these things really make a mess. They send little metal chips all over the place, so I really recommend picking up one of these magnetic chip pickup tools. Evolution actually sells these too, and I'll put a link in the description for that. And even like down here on the gravel, it'll pick all that stuff up, no problem. And then you can just dump it in the trash. Now, obviously, the big difference about this saw compared to other metal cutting saws is its ability to miter a full 45 degrees in either direction. So most saws are only going to be able to do one direction. Even other types of saws, like band saws, are generally only going to do one direction, and the ones that do multiple directions are generally huge. So it would take up a lot more room. I wouldn't be able to fit it right here in my shop like this if I had a dual mitering bandsaw. Here I am using the clamp that will clamp downwards. That's good for using on angle iron. And they really recommend that when you cut through a piece, you keep the blade down and you wait for it to stop. That's definitely a lot safer doing it that way. I can't say that I always do it that way, but it's what they recommend, and it really is a good idea. You get a nice clean cut, and this piece is cool to the touch. That's one really nice feature about these. So cutting square tube, this might look a little weird the way that I set it up. Generally, you want to avoid cutting on the flat. So if you can put it on an angle like I'm going to do here, where I'll stand it up kind of like a diamond, it's much better for the blade. You'll get a lot longer blade life, and it just cuts much faster too. Now, a lot of people ask what kind of blade life you can expect out of these saws. That's kind of a hard answer to give because it's really going to depend on, how you're using it. If you're cutting a lot of solid bar or you're really, pushing down hard to cut through stuff, you're not going to get the same blade life out of it as somebody who is being gentler on the saw. But I've seen people say that you get about 10 times what you would get out of like an abrasive blade. I've seen other people say like 20. This is my original blade, and it's lasted me a while now, so see how that piece of material fell down. If I had lifted the blade up, there would have been a chance that it could have kicked, and I have actually had that happen to me before. So if you wait for it to stop and leave it down, generally you won't ever run into an issue like that.
I've even been cutting stuff like this. This is 2-inch diameter 1045 that I'm going to be using to make hammerheads. It cuts through this like butter.
One other thing that I really recommend is getting something like this cut ease. This will really prolong your blade life and just make cutting a lot easier. And I just kind of put it on like chapstick. Just make sure you keep your hand away from the blade.
I hope you guys understand just how important this saw is to me. I put it right at the front of my blacksmith shop. So now every time I get material in, it comes right in here first. I can process it all through this, and then it'll either go over to the weld shop or get worked on in here. If you guys are interested in learning more about this saw, I'll put some affiliate links down in the description. You guys will get the same great price, but I'll get a small kickback from the company. Actually, I've got a 5% discount code that I'll put in the description too that'll help you guys save some cash. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below in the comment section. I'd also really appreciate if you guys would like, share the video with your friends, and leave a comment. That really helps the algorithm out and will help the video get seen by more people. And until next time, I'll see everyone over on one of these other videos.